Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, how are you all? Now in this time, I want to explain about Semarang history, facts and timeline. Semarang, Central Java, Indonesia. One of the major port towns during the Dutch colonial era, Semarang remains an important center of commerce, industry and local Javanese culture. Though it can trace its history back as far as the 9th century, when the town went by the name of Berkota. Semarang has a modern history that is truly a product of Dutch colonialism. It also has a tradition of revolutionary inclination from leftists as well as nationalists and communists. A boarding school is born. In the 1500s, an Islamic missionary from Java named Kyai Pandan Arang traveled from the neighboring Sultanate of Demak and established a new village, an Islamic boarding school, where Semarang stands today. The missionary was later named the first Regent or Bupati, giving official birth to the town in the age of the rules of Java. Payment for a debt. Roughly a century later, in 1678, the ruling regent of the time, Sunan Amangkurat II of the Mataram dynasty, agreed to hand over governance of Semarang to the Dutch East India Company to repay a debt he had incurred. The Dutch colonial powers continued to squeeze the local sultans over trade balance, essentially forcing the Javanese lords to pay their bills with land and resources. The history of Semarang has always been at the heart of the Dutch colonial effort to take over control of Indonesia. After years of occupation, the city was officially handed over to the Dutch in 1705, in another deal to wipe clean the debts of neighboring Mataram. The Dutch East India Company received exclusive trading rights to the region and then began to transform Semarang into one of the main trading centers on Java. Growth and expansion of the city. The Dutch planted massive tobacco farms in the region around Semarang, built railway lines and routes to transport goods, and turned the town into Java's third biggest city by the end of the 1700s. Much of the history of Semarang during this era of prosperity was influenced by its position in northern Java. It became the center of colonial governance for the region, with many important Indo-European officials basing themselves here. The Red City. The modern history of Semarang has largely been shaped by its revolutionary learnings. In the 1920, It was one of Java's main hubs for nationalist and leftist activism. When the first Communist Party of Indonesia was formed around the time, Semarang was named the Red City. Like the rest of Java, Semarang was occupied by the Japanese in 1942. During WWII, a Japanese governor was appointed, and the residents of the city quickly simmered with rebellion under the occupation. When the Indonesia gained independence in 1945. Following the Japanese defeat in WWII, the city was immediately named the capital of the Central Java province. Indonesia gets its turn. As the youthful new nation of Indonesia grew, Semarang continued along its established path as an important port city and trading hub. This role continues today, efficiency around the bustling harbor and diverse ethnic makeup of the population, which includes a large community of Chinese. Okay, till here we know the little story about the Semarang city. And don't forget to visit this city also. Thank you very much for your attention. And the last, I say, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.